Hey guys, what's going on? H Silver back here. So, fanboys that are defending Capcom's business practices. You know, the same business practices that Capcom usually do. They usually announce a game and then they announce DLC right before the game is released, like months prior. And then you're just sitting there waiting like, why though? Yeah, that sort of thing. Now, with their recent trailer, their recent upcoming game, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, you have two main antagonists, one named Ultron from the Marvel series and one named Sigma from the Capcom series. Now, with both of these characters, there's something that brought a concern to me that I felt the need to inform other gamers, other consumers. And that is the fact that, well, you have Ultron, who is one of the main antagonists of the game. You can play him freely without pre-ordering the game. Let's just say you don't want to get the game day one. You want to get it like maybe a few months down the road and you want to pick it up used, right? You can still play Ultron freely even though he's one of the main antagonists of the game. Now with Sigma, I don't think you're going to have that option. As a matter of fact, you don't have that option because simply, let's put it, he's actually pre-order DLC. And if you pre-order and you get the game day one, you get to actually play with Sigma. Yeah. So, there's a stipulation here. There's a circumstance. How is it that one of the main villains is a playable character right from the jump off with no restrictions, no circumstances, nothing whatsoever, but the other one is? You see where I'm getting at? That's one of my gripes that I had in one of my Facebook posts about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And I'm going to show you guys it right about now. Let me go ahead and minimize this. I said this: if you plan on buying Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Day 1, understand that Capcom is finessing you by locking out Sigma, who is in the main story of the game, so that you will have to pay extra money just to use him. Meaning that, yeah, day 1, you'll be able to play with Sigma, but let's just say day 30, day 40, you're not going to have that option. I'm pretty sure there is a DLC code key that you'll have to input to use so that way you can actually unlock him and then get him. Gone are the days where we get to play fighting games a certain way with certain characters on some crazy, insane difficulty, and then you would have to beat the game to actually play as certain characters. Now, the cheap way to do it is just pretty much, hey, we're just going to sell it off to you. Fuck the process of getting good at the game, learning the game mechanics and physics, especially with the character that you plan to use, just so that you can unlock this new character within the game. Maybe I'm just an old guy that grew up in the 90s, that when it came to fighting games, I just decided to just say, you know what, I want to, get good at this game so that way I can unlock this character and then use him because he seems interesting. When it comes to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I don't think that option is actually there. Who knows, maybe they might lock away Ultron so that way if you beat the game, you can play as Ultron. Who knows? Now, you have people in the Facebook group pretty much just get, oh my god. You can see the fanboys of in this comment section, this comment thread, and the group is called South Florida Fighting Game Community. And yeah, I guess this is one of the most highlight topics of the actual post because usually it's just, it's just usually dead. So one guy says, "Bro, what's new?" That's my problem. Nobody wants to call it out. And then of course you go down, and it just gets on and on and on. And I'm just like, oh Lord. Some of it is funny. I mean, had me laughing. And I'm just like and then you have this one guy, shout out to people who have no idea how games are made. You fucking idiot. Did I say anything about how the game is made? I was talking about Capcom's business practices, the business practice that they're doing with this game. Idiot. This shows you that, one, people don't take people in the fighting game community seriously because usually the loud ones, the ones that gets noticed, are pretty much the loud and dumb ones. The ones that actually respects the culture, the fighting game culture that is, and, you know, want to keep things professional and in a classy manner, well, we're usually the ones that are silent, are told to be silent. And I'm just like, some of these people don't understand or get the fact that you are a consumer. You consume a product from that same business. And let's go down history lane. Capcom has a history of giving you a decent amount of fighters at a time. Granted, yes, they had Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter, and all these other types of Street Fighter, EX, Hyper, Alpha, and all this other nonsense and whatnot. Even though you have to, you know, pay and get this one and get this one and get this one. At least within the game, if there were some characters that were locked away, you had to play the game at a certain difficulty with certain characters, get good, and then you would unlock the character. It's that simple. Why is that a problem? But, of course, you have fanboys that will justify it, saying, you know, it's okay, it's fine. Or as the guy said, what's new? What's new is the fact that nobody is calling this out. Nobody is saying, hey, I think Capcom's bullshitting you guys again. Y'all remember how bad Street Fighter V launched? With very lack of characters and lack of features. You remember that? Or you remember how many times you had to keep buying a new edition of Street Fighter 4? You had Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4. You had to trade in your old Street Fighter or pay $30 to get the expansion of Super Street Fighter. I think they had that for the PS3. Or if you didn't, you would have to go to GameStop and buy Super Street Fighter for $40. And then you had the expansion of Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, which was another $30. And then, of course, you also had Ultra Street Fighter 4, which is another $30. So all that money that you spend on getting the game, because as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do some math. Let's do some math, shall we? Okay. When I got Street Fighter 4, it was $60, right? If I wanted to get Super Street Fighter 4, I would have to trade in the game, and it would cost me $40. So let's just say with GameStop's bullshit policy, I ended up buying it for about $25, right? Let's add $30 for Arcade Edition, and then let's add another $30 for Ultra Street Fighter 4. So $85, and let's not forget the fact that you also had to buy Street Fighter 4 in the beginning. That's $145 to play the same game with all the characters, right? Now, when they released a complete full edition of the game, it was $40. So, answer me this. What sounds better to you? Paying $145 to have all the characters in the game? Or just pay $40 just by simply waiting until they have all the characters in the game? Exactly my point. Same thing I did with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I bought it day one, and then 9-10 months later, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 comes out. So, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which I bought for $60, now I have to trade that in to get Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You're spending more money than you have to, rather than just sitting out and waiting for it. You're literally giving a bad deal. But of course, if you want to support the company, by all means go for it. But at least call them out on their bullshit when they are wrong and when they're trying to rip you off. There's nothing wrong trying to want better from the game company that you support. There's nothing wrong with that. I expect better from Capcom, which is why I won't be picking up their game day one. If anything, I'm just going to wait for a complete edition. Also, do y'all remember Street Fighter Cross Tekken with the On This DLC that they charged y'all for? Pepperidge Farms remembers. And also, even Injustice 2, I'm not even getting it day one because with NetherRealm's track history of, okay, we're going to, like, they did this with Mortal Kombat 9. I bought all the DLC characters. I did. Granted that they announced it after the game was released. So with Capcom doing the same thing, saying, you know, there will be 6 all-new DLC characters, Granted, we don't know who they are. At least with Mortal Kombat 9, they told you that they're giving you new characters after the game launched. Same thing with, I believe, Mortal Kombat X. I could be wrong. Maybe they did announce DLC for it or had thoughts of DLC, but at least we didn't know who the characters were going to be. So in this instance with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, we don't know who the 6 new characters are. We don't even know how big the roster is going to be. So my thing is this. If the roster is smaller, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite roster is smaller than Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, oh, you guys are being finessed. But that's just my opinion. I just call out bad business practices when I see it. And the fact that you have fanboys that are defending it and justifying it, it's sick. This is the reason why gaming as a whole it's starting to go downhill. I mean, sometimes it goes up and sometimes it goes down, but I like to be behind games that actually do DLC right. I don't have a problem with DLC, but don't announce the damn thing before the game even comes out. Like, I would understand if you said, okay, we're gonna announce some DLC a month before the game comes out. Okay, I'm not too hard on that. Granted, I still don't like the idea, but I'm not as hard on that as this game got months before it comes out and they're already announcing DLC. Really? But that's just my opinion on the thing. You guys let me know in the comment section. What are your thoughts on it? And yeah, as always, stay classy.